Thank you for coming to the Finance Committee meeting for May 12th of 2026. I assume everyone received a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. Can I get a motion to approve them?
You have that motion?
Second?
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We're going to go right into, get my calendar up here. The first thing on the agenda, I do believe, is discussing the Ohio plan that was presented by our Ohio Risk Assessment Manager from our insurance company. I think you all have a copy in front of you that Courtney was kind enough to pass. I can summarize it while you're going through it. But this is actually the recommendations from our insurance company advising us, basically, Courtney, interject and correct me if I'm getting off track or not saying it properly. First thing we have to work with is there is a training part of this that we as council have to take, and we have to have this completed by May 29th.
So just for everybody to understand, you guys are getting it here at Finance. All of council is going to get a copy of this. Obviously, it's all public record, so anybody can request a copy of it.
Okay.
So after this meeting, I will be giving it to council members in an email so that everybody can review it.
Right. And there will be a fair and logical explanation of what it is, I'm sure. And if they have any questions, they can reach out to you.
Well, what my thought is that if there's probably questions that other council members have, it wouldn't be bad to have a meeting.
Okay.
It would be my suggestion.
And that we're going to talk about.
And that everybody
Okay.
can ask their
Sure.
questions.
Have their
openly.
opinion, yeah, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So the first part of this is kind of like why are we doing this? What's the purpose of doing it? The cybersecurity measures that need to be implemented. There's a section down here, stop the bleed.
And that's if, like, if, say our village employees are out there and they, say one of them, heaven forbid.
Right.
Something happens to them, that they have the proper necessities on site to help, any hemorrhages, and again, it's, showing here if there was any issues with the staff, that they have the proper resources to provide to the
Right.
Patient.
Right. We also have some issues with our playground equipment, and I believe it covers all the playground equipment, from the swings that were put up before, the handicap swing, the flooring that was put down recently. There are specifications in the height. There are some issues with the top of the swings. So Andy and I talked a little bit about that. They are going to be addressing that. I don't think they're going to take all of them down at one time, but we do have a little bit of leeway to get those done, and it's just a matter of adjusting some heights. And it's a matter of taking some of the swings down and fixing the tops of them where there could be somebody hurt if my understanding was they had some prongs that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, all the pictures are on the back too.
Yeah, you have pictures on here of the swings and what needs taken care of. So we are going to be taking care of that. Very soon, they're going to start on that as well. I'll get more accurate dates from Andy as to when that's going to begin. But I think these have to be addressed and done by May 29th before they're assessed. We also have pages in the back that we have to respond back to them as how we're taking care of these issues, what our action plan is, and when they'll be completed. Contractual liability, we've already discussed. Third parties having events in the village are gonna be required to have insurance. That is non-negotiable. It's gonna be starting very soon. There's a list of things that they have to give to us. We're gonna have to be shown proof of insurance, the list, dates involved, services provided. Yeah, you can read the list. I don't need to read it to you. We'll have to have a security deposit, signatures of authorized persons, the name and the respective parties involved in a hold harmless and an indemnification clause. And I believe I read somewhere in here, we have to have a signed contract. Now, if we go over to the next page on the Ohio Plan University, the training that we need to take, you can see here at the top of the page, the training involves a whole host of issues, but we are required to take that. Members are asked to complete these courses and have them done by May 29th. And that is on Ohio Plan University. I don't know if you get our logons for us. You and I had talked about that last week, because I was gonna try to get on and take the training, and then I had to go in for emergency procedure on my tooth, and I get to
Do you
do
want me
it.
to ask how those are obtained?
Yes, please. If you could find out that process, I mean, I'm sure we could all figure it out, but when I tried to go on, they kept referring me back, and I was just getting bounced back and forth and didn't get anywhere with it. And it does say you can email Lindsay Deaton for assistance, and that didn't work for me.
Okay.
And I went onto the ohioplan.org website, and usually I'm pretty techie, but yeah, it might have just been because I was having so much trouble with my tooth, I couldn't think far enough ahead
Right,
to navigate it.
I can ask that.
And I didn't want to call. So if you can figure out how we can do that so that we can get that done in a timely manner, we'll all go over that when we meet as a whole. And then the last page of this before the pictures is the recommendation reply form. And I assume we do that separately, or do we do that as a group?
I think it deserves a conversation with council. So I think that, as long as we respond back to Greg saying that, we are having this meeting and that everybody's aware of, things that are outlined in this letter, we can reply back to him.
Yeah, I think we could record the item that needs addressed, and our clerk or whoever's taking notes at that time, or the minutes, can complete the narrative as a whole from all of us. And if we need to, we can have one person sign it, and we can initial it however they want it. It doesn't matter. I don't see why we would have to do it individually, but I could be wrong. So that's the basic plan for the Insurance Ohio plan. Does anyone have any questions so far?
I was looking at a picture of the slide. I can remember when I was a kid, though, we had slides that went
Yeah,
12 foot.
yeah.
Maybe they thought we were natural commandos, but we never had no protection. You always land on your butt in the dirt.
Right, right,
But
right.
now that down there, could they get that rubber mulch can you get that?
Well, the mulch we have is fine.
Okay.
It's the placement or the height, I believe, was the
Okay.
problem.
I was look,
We should have leftover rubber mulch
Yeah.
if it was
If
all
that's,
saved
if it was all
from,
saved, yeah.
and that's what we were
That would be
told
the
it would
question.
be saved, because
Yeah.
that was several $1,000s worth
That was.
of rubber mulch. So we've had this before where you just need to, the kids impact that area so much and make those little,
kind of pound it down
pound
there.
it down and make those little ditches.
Yeah.
And simply raising the level of the mulch will make things in compliance. And then it looks
Okay.
like, as far as all those exposed screws or bolts, whatever you wanna call them, it just looks like I mean, that could be taken care of pretty easily with those plastic bolt head covers that you'll see sometimes on kids' toys and stuff, you know what I mean? So I would think that that, could be another easy fix. Now, you know, this other swing, the handicap swing, I did wanna bring it to someone's attention. I don't, not necessarily at finance, but I have noticed the only kids on this swing, they're getting on there like 2 at a time and using it like they lay on it. And they hit back and forth, and there's all these dents in the metal, poles of it, and, you know, that hold it up. So it's obviously, I mean, we don't have any children that have used it in the right method that I've seen yet, but I have seen a lot of kids that are just, and again, you can see on those poles how they're using it, you know, like one of those round things you're supposed to lay on and go back and forth. That's how they're using it. So, and I think he's circled there, some of the corners, and you can see some of the corners have been really dented up. So that one is, and then that, one little area there, the damaged area, the concrete sidewalk. I brought that to Andy's attention just a couple months after it was poured, because I thought that was, I don't know who did that for him, because I know he said he got it in a big bundle. But I pointed that out to him just a couple months later, how it was already doing that, and that he should contact them. And I don't know if he ever did or not, but yeah, that's not great workmanship there when the concrete falls apart within just a couple of months. And we've had trouble before with some of these little, I see on the back couple of pages,
The leap pad
the
things.
leaf pads, and they've been there for years, and we have moved them before to be in compliant with our insurance. So it's kind of surprising that this is an issue again. But these pods are, maximum distance is 18 inches.
Well, Andy has these, or will have them, and he has to take care of them now. And we'll be checking back, along with the insurance company, will be checking it back and holding us accountable. So we'll get it taken care of.
So, a question to you, Courtney. Is this, I was just kind of reading here, it's a lot to take in, real quick like this. So we're gonna have a separate meeting,
Yes.
for council,
Now, that's my recommendation. I'm not council, of course, I don't make meetings.
right?
But I'm saying that it probably deserves just the historical part of council, where everybody can ask the same questions, everybody's on the same page. It's not a side conversation in a hallway or anything like that, that all of council can have and ask these questions.
So I was just reading here, it says, the new on-demand training platform is available to Ohio Plan members, which we're a Ohio Plan member. Employees and public officials are encouraged to take advantage of the training to enhance their knowledge. So is this something we're encouraged to do or required?
Well, encouraged and required are two separate things.
Right.
So I'm taking that they are encouraged to take the training. It is not part of a requirement.
Okay.
But I can get that confirmed by Greg.
And this would be just something online, right?
Yes, so it looks like there's some logins here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna reach out.
Right.
I was just a little concerned because the date's so close. It's just a couple
is.
weeks away.
Okay, so, again, going back, we are, again, encouraged to, take this training. I think that would give us a much better understanding of what's going on. I will take it. I know others have expressed interest in taking it. So,
Who has? Cause again, the letter.
Nathan,
Okay, so the.
yeah.
Who?
When I told Nathan about it, I did express that. David, I think I expressed it to you. You were in my office when we were talking about it as well, just going over the plan. So, and that was a one-on-one as well, it wasn't a group. So, we will go through and try to get, I'll be talking with Andy this afternoon, and we're looking at schedules, to try to figure out when this can come to fruition. We've got craziness going on, for May. Andy's out next week, I'm out the week after. It could very easily be,
Well, if there's a due date here, there needs to be a response by February the 29th. So, if any
May.
people can't, if people can't align to do this, I can certainly reach out to Greg and advise him.
I'm wondering, do we have to have our work session before that part of it goes in
Well,
place?
what I always suggest, and again, this is just a suggestion, an opinion from your clerk, is that this letter is to be given to everybody at council. So this letter was copied to Andy, and asked how this legal interpretation, so legal counsel, to confirm if there was anything in here that he's seen that needed to be changed or recommended by him. I'm not an attorney, I'm not an insurance
Right,
person either.
right.
So what I would suggest is that everybody who gets this letter, bring back their questions. So they need to ask the questions and do their homework and bring it back, and we would go from there. So they would say, hey, I have a question on this, is this a requirement or is this a suggestion? Hey, I have an idea of how to fix the handicap swing.
Sure.
Put plastic, edges
Sure.
on it. So I think that, Andy needs to bring some items to the table. I think it is
Right.
the responsibility of council to bring items to the table. And maybe at this point, Andy probably has a targeted date, say May the 27th, he will have everything corrected. Because this is something that the guys, the village employees probably need to have complete. So I think when I do send it out, I will let council know that, this questions need to be brought back to the committee or to the meeting. And then if there's any action that they need me to take or that Andy needs to take, we can ask Greg what that means. But I don't know, and again, meetings are always done with majority. So if people cannot align,
Right.
it's just majority. And I think
Right.
we have been gracious enough, I know I have, of trying to get everybody's schedule together.
Right.
If that can't align, majority of the
Right.
people have to comply. So
Right.
I can't control people's schedules.
Cannot.
So if you're saying Andy's out next week and you're out the week before, or the week after, it's majority of the council members that
Yeah.
can attend.
Well, I know I'm gonna be going a stretch there. John's coming up for Memorial Day, then we had plans to go into Kentucky, so I don't know how long that's going to be.
Okay, so I guess hearing from the 3 members here, okay, so it doesn't make up majority. A majority of council is 4 members that attend a meeting. So, Becky, I'm not sure what your,
I'm free.
what your schedule is. So
free.
do you want me to go to Greg and say, hey, by May the 29th, there will be no response? Or do you want me to continue with scheduling meetings with 4 members? Because if you're saying you're not there, your mayor's not there.
I may not
David's
be.
not there, you have 4 members that.
Let me ask them this. I'm down for the count today, and I don't know what tomorrow's gonna be. Maybe if I can swing something late, well, I don't even know about late tomorrow. I won't be able to do much
Well, I do
talking,
know,
but I
and
can.
it was addressed yesterday, is Nathan doesn't get off of work until after 4:30. And it sounds like Melanie doesn't get off late either, on certain days. I think Mondays were her only good days. So
If
I
we
can
could
send
pull
out
something together Thursday, I think maybe I would be feeling better. And are you around Thursday?
No, I could handle Thursday if we could do that.
Well, I
yeah.
will say Thursday at 5, I have a monthly meeting scheduled.
Okay, so why don't we do this? If you guys are not opposed to this, and I'm only gonna speak
Okay.
on this committee level here, is, why don't I reach out to Greg and say, hey, is the 29th a hard stop? Can we have an extension due to scheduling? Is anybody opposed to that?
The only thing that I'm concerned about is the whole insurance thing. That's a big draw because we have events coming up the first Friday of June. We have to have this settled by then, because that is an insurance issue. And they need to know if they have to have insurance, and according to the plan, they have to have insurance. So that has to go through council for a vote. So we have to have something from council before that, because they need, I'm sure they're gonna want something from council. They're not gonna wanna go by just this, to be fair.
We're not gonna have a council meeting before June the 5th.
We will have a council meeting before June. We will plan something, because that has to go past.
We had council meeting last night. I mean, I wish this would've, the hindsight would've been brought to all of us, and then we would've all had it in our hands.
I recommended that it be brought up last night. I was told to just hold off, and we'll have
Well,
another
just-
council meeting
Just at least
later.
getting this packet in their hands so they could look things over.
Yeah, well, I was asked not to do that, so I didn't. So, and I told the mayor, this has to be resolved, and we have to have a council meeting. Sorry, we can't have it on the 25th. We're gonna have to call one before that Friday and give them enough time to figure this out. Now, it seems to me, if I were on that committee, that I know this is coming, and I think you guys have been checking into it. You know it's coming, I'd be prepared for it if council approves it. Whether council approves it or not, it's still, in my mind, it still should be happening. But to be fair, it has to go through council's approval. So, it's the law. We cannot go against the law. So, but to make everything to be above board, I have been advised to proceed with the plan of getting everyone together, making sure that you have this, which you'll have this today, and making sure we proceed with following the law and getting council to approve it.
Okay, so as your clerk, I don't make those rules.
Right.
I can't complete that. So I will be tasked with what you guys as a committee require. I too, when I got this letter, was sent directly to the mayor and the legal counsel.
Right.
Whatever they choose to do with that, whatever they choose not to do with that, that is not my problem.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead right
It's been
now.
suggested several times
Okay.
to present, so I don't know what y'all want me to do. I
Okay.
don't know what the next best step is. You guys are gonna have to do it on your own and make a decision.
My recommendation is going to be not to draw this out. We can discuss it, we can try to have a council meeting.
Well, I believe needs to be a work session first. The work session needs to be where you guys can bring your questions.
Discuss it,
You can
yeah.
ask questions. It gives me enough time to bring it back to Greg, and Greg can answer those questions. So the work session has to happen first. A recommendation will be brought as a whole, majority vote,
Okay.
and then you guys would hold a special meeting.
I make a recommendation that we have a work session on Thursday, the 14th. Because Andy's not available Friday, and I'm not available Wednesday.
I could make that, I got that on my schedule.
On
What time are
Thursday?
you talking about?
What depends on, is that gonna be in the evening or afternoon?
Just remember, Nathan already voiced that he works, and Melanie voiced
Yeah.
that she works.
So we'll
Heather
have
and
to
I
have it in
both-
the evening.
Heather and I both have a 5 o'clock meeting.
A
that's
5 o'clock?
Standing for, yes,
What time is your meeting end?
5 o'clock, usually around 7.
Okay, then we can have it at 7:30.
Maybe. I've talked to Melanie too and Heather both, but I know we have the 5 o'clock meeting.
Okay, so are you taking on contacting I mean, I guess I'm confused now.
No.
So is the
No.
clerk still?
No,
Yeah, you're
the clerk is
still-
still
okay.
doing that.
I was just,
Well, you just said you were gonna talk to Heather and Melanie, so I wasn't sure.
well,
if
I
that
said
was-
you would have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Okay.
just meant, I'm not gonna just speak for them, other than let you know, two of us have a meeting Thursday.
Okay. So that was May the 14th at 7:30.
Can I have a
I will
second on
send-
that recommendation?
Uh,
All in favor?
Okay, so that was David, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Yep.
Okay.
All in favor? Say aye.
What is exactly, are we, usually Courtney will just reach out and ask people, is this time good for you? We don't usually make a motion and vote on it.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
All right, the
Courtney sends it
recommendation
out.
is,
Now, again, I just want to be clear, is that I think we have a lot of a lot of things that council members want to have or not. I feel the more council members that we have here that can want to attend certain meetings, but just remember, if not everybody is here and you have a quorum, a meeting still can happen, okay? So is it fair to try to align everybody? It is. But I just want to be clear, is that if there are certain members that can't go and you have 4, so you guys
Once we
are
have
a
a
6-member
fourth.
crew, if you have 4 that attend, the meeting still can go on. So I just want to be clear about that, so we
Okay.
don't have any, oh, well, I can't go, why are you not? And then Facebook blows up and social media goes crazy, okay?
It's gonna
So I
be
just wanna clear,
recorded.
Is that we all have
gonna be
that
recorded.
understanding, is that if the majority can go, the majority can go.
Right.
So as I always do, send an email out to all council. Council can say yay or nay that they can't. So it's a yes or a no, but also be understanding is that they may say, no, I can't do it until Friday, or I can't do it until next Monday. So there's gonna be a lot of meetings and emails coming back and forth. So just understand is that it is the majority. If the majority say they can meet.
Once we
at
have 4,
7:30.
it shows up, right, on Thursday?
Right, such as
Yeah.
like last week when we recommended a meeting for Friday,
Yeah.
and 3 of you couldn't come, there
Yeah,
can't be a meeting.
definitely, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there can't be a meeting with just 3.
You cannot, you have to have 4.
Yeah.
So I will send out, I have a note here to send it out to council today.
Now, will
And
that
I'm
be,
just gonna let you guys know, I mean, I don't know if you guys all understand, is that if I'm not available, okay, then there's gonna have to be a chair that is selected. Okay, so if this is gonna go under a finance chair committee, it's usually
It's
goes
a
back to
work
the chair.
session, so the mayor will be
Yeah,
the chair.
So he would have to take
Yeah.
notes.
Yes.
So I'm just giving everybody an FYI on that too, is that I may not be able to come to every single meeting.
no, is
That's
that gonna
okay.
be 5 o'clock Thursday then?
Okay, no.
No, 7:30.
7:30, okay,
An email's gonna go out,
okay,
okay?
okay,
Email's gonna go out to all council, every single council member that sits here.
okay.
7:30, May the 14th.
7:30
They're gonna
sounds
either
good.
let me know, yay or nay,
Yeah,
but I'm just also saying is that there may be some conflict. It sounds like there already is a conflict at 5 o'clock, but because it's now at 7:30, if I get 4 people, I will then send out an email and very clearly saying the meeting will still happen. We do have a quorum.
okey-doke.
Now, if at some point a council member cannot come, say they've agreed to come, and something, God forbid, happens, and they can't make it, an emergency pops up, guess what? The meeting still doesn't get held because you only still have 3 council members. 4 makes a quorum,
Yeah.
3 does not. Okay?
Works for me.
But I will send it out and ask. I can't provide guarantee.
Thank you. All right.
You know, I was looking at this playground equipment though. When I was growing up, everything would have been dangerous. We used to jump out of the haymow and umbrella and play paratroop.
Everything was dangerous.
It was a different time though.
Cybersecurity grant. It is my understanding that, Courtney is still working with Misty on the needs for the cybersecurity grant. I don't think it's all quite nailed down yet, but we're close.
So, from what Misty and I had spoken about, is that the needs of how I wrote the grant last year, and the needs at the time were you all got it in your packet, so you guys obviously know what that grant said. The needs now is not what it is, what she needs now. So what I have to do is go back to the grant people, because just remember, I can't, I don't know how the grant works, that if the items in the grant when I wrote it a year ago, if that's now needs to be changed, will they accept the new recommendation? Because just remember, they approved it at the grant that I wrote prior, but now the needs have changed now. So now I have to go back and ask them if they can change that. So just to give everybody an FYI, we got a letter in the mail last week from our service provider, Gordon Flesh, that handles our scanner and our printer. They had advised us as of July that they can no longer support the needs, the equipment, the repairs, the servicing of that printer and copier now. So what I suggested and what me and Misty had recommended is that because it does have a scanner on it, is that could we use that as part of the security grant? That's not how it was written last year, okay? So some of this stuff has just come to fruition as of last week. So I'm going to have to go back to the grant writer and ask them, you know, hey, can we change this? What also has changed since then is that Misty has now become mobile, meaning that there's a laptop that we that we had during COVID, if anybody can remember that far back, is that we got laptops so that it could be mobile. Now, nothing affects the security for me because my stuff is all created by the state. So I can't take, you know, advantage of any of that part because all of mine is protected and required by the state of Ohio. So she now has become mobile. So antivirus has always been on there. So there are some things that have changed. There are some things that she says, that's really not a priority. I would like to get this instead of this. So because I don't know what the needs are in the water department, she has to tell me what those are now. So right now, because we got that letter, they're not gonna support it within July, that becomes a problem now. So if it breaks down, we won't have a scanner and a copier that's needed. So if the grant people don't get back to me in time, then we are gonna have to talk about purchasing another contract for the printer. Because we will have to have a scanner and a,
Okay, sounds like,
so those are two things that have to be worked out.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions in regards to the cybersecurity grant? Thank you, Courtney. Going back to our last meeting, it's out here. I know we talked about a whole host of things.
If you don't mind, I have them here in front of me.
Is there some things that we need to go back over?
Andy was explaining and handling the rate
The
utility
aggregation?
Rate
Yeah.
aggregation. And then.
They're
we
still
talked a
working
lot
on
about
that.
this Ohio risk
We
stuff.
did.
Members then talked about funding for the Market Street repairs.
I've got it here.
Yep, which has already been taken care of.
Okay, that's done.
Becky asked about the microphone. The microphone, it sounds like
It's taking care of
it's
itself.
taken care of. And then Courtney will speak with the water department about their needs for the cybersecurity grant.
Okay. Yeah, utility aggregation update, the emergency water fund for Market Street, event coverage. Yeah, I think, I've gone back and I think we've covered pretty much anything else. Does anyone else have any new business they would like to bring up? Okay. Look for your inboxes. Courtney will be sending out the Ohio plan. Hopefully we can get this,
The only, I'm skeptical, how do you say that?
Skeptical.
Skeptical. You know what I'm saying.
yeah.
Skeptical.
Yeah, so with the security grant, as we know, is that grants do not happen overnight. So my concern is because of the time frame that Gordon Flush has given us, we may need to take action sooner versus later. Okay, so I'm not sure how long the cybersecurity, you know, once you provide them the information, how long that's gonna take. They may not take it until the end of, I don't know, in the fall time. So that tells us is that, you know, that copier, it may be sooner versus later. So my fear is that we're probably gonna need it now, than waiting for the grant. I need to, you know, I need to compile some information from Misty and what her needs are.
Will the grant reimburse us?
Well, that's the other questions I don't know. Because now, you know, we do need to have a copier and a printer, and as of July, they won't support that. So that's the other question I was gonna ask him as well. Is it reimbursable like that? Because remember, this grant is an 80-20. So it's not that the village gets to, and that, I guess that's what my concern is now, is because the needs of the water department has changed drastically from how I wrote it before, what the needs were at the time. So is it that you don't do the cybersecurity grant because we're already gonna have to have a contract with them? Because just remember, printer contracts, you don't just go and buy the equipment, okay? You always need to buy toner for it. You know, how our current copier machine works now is that we're in a contract. So every copy that goes through there, we pay a certain percentage of that, okay? So they come out and they repair it free of charge. They come out and give us the free cartridges for that. So my question, and which I'm a little concerned about, is that the cybersecurity grant may not pay for it, and this is just me speculating, okay? This is just a speculation, is that cybersecurity was going to provide the need at the time. They may not extend it for the next 15 years to pay for a printer contract. We have to have a printer contract, because if it ever breaks down, we have to have a repair service that comes out and does that. So I don't think that they may support something like that, because this is an existing contract, you know, and I use it as, like, for instance, the meters, okay? So remember when we bought the cellular meters? They only paid from a certain period of time for the cellular service. Okay, so Badger Meter charges us monthly for everybody that has a cellular service. It's just like your cell phone, okay? You know, you can get with meters, you can't get on an unlimited plan. They don't have an unlimited plan, right? You have to pay per meter. Our cell phones, however, you get you're an unlimited plan, okay? So I think with the printer situation, I don't think that's gonna be something that they support. And again, this is just me speculating what they're gonna do. Because this is purchasing the item. And then they would say, okay, well, you know, we'll do it 1 year, but you have to go and, you know, pay for it. So that might not even be something that maybe this new printer company even supports. I don't know that part, because again, we are gonna have to pay a contract for that printer and copier. So that's my only concern, is that maybe this doesn't fall under that cybersecurity part.
Boy, they put a lot of red tape onto this, don't they?
Well,
For
I don't
some
think it's a
reason.
red tape. I just think that, you know, it wouldn't be fair of them to pay for it for its lifespan.
Okay,
I mean, that seems ridiculous.
that
Grants
would be
don't
too
do
good
that.
of a guarantee.
Grants say, okay, we support it from this year till construction, and then after that, it becomes yours. It's just like anything here in the village, is that, you know, just like a housing development.
Yeah,
We insure it from this period of point on, but then guess what? It becomes your baby after that. So I think that this is kind of how that works as well. Because again, how it was written, the needs are not there now. You know, I don't know what that answer is, so I plan to get that. So it might be something that we have to pay as a contractual service, out of our budget to get a new printer and copier. So that's just something to think about.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Courtney. Is there any more new business that anyone would like to bring up? Any more questions, comments, thoughts? We have paperwork to sign.
Yep. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna come down here, since you all are not together. I'll just come here, just in case you guys have any questions. But I'll say the same thing that I'll say.
okey-doke.
Okay, so there was a repair to an outlet at the batting cage out at the park.
Yes.
That was exposed, so we got that taken care of. This is the pothole repair, 456. If you guys, I think Andy talked a little bit about it down here.
Yeah, I know we're
Both of
talking
them,
about, yeah.
And they had to repair it, the rig was closed down for a little bit last month. Okay, so, this is the, plumbing repairs that are, okay, so this and this one is, remember, you guys had already put this in the budget. So this was plumbing that was gonna be at the sewer plant and the water plant to install those meters for the EPA. The EPA requires us to track, you know, the usage of water. These are what those are, okay?
Is that a double header one?
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
want to make sure.
And then, of course, this one's for BJ's Electric. This is for contractual services. This was down at the water plant. This was already in his budget to do for 2026. This is a repair for some locks that were broken on the door down at the water plant. $325 to repair that. Blades and bearings, as you guys know, you'll see a lot more of these repairs from AgPro for the mowers.
Getting that time of year.
Well, what happens is some of those baseballs and softballs get stuck in the grass.
Yeah.
And they sort of tear up the blades.
Then
in
it
the
makes it a
middle.
foul ball. A little bit wrong there.
Yeah. This is, some supplies that were needed at the water plant for USA Blue Book. This was gravel. Andy talked a little bit about this in the streets meetings
Yeah,
last night.
he is,
There was some gravel that was ordered to do some of those alleys. And this part here also is, for the sewer plant, a repair to the door. And those doors, just so you know, it's not like a standard door, like a wooden door. These are metal doors, that need to get repaired. We've had them since 2017 and some hinges were coming off of them.
Courtney, I didn't notice in your explanation of all those bills, one for the 2 trees. Because I wanted to ensure with Cheryl, it's not 2 years later when we get the bill, and
Yeah.
she said it had already been turned in.
Yeah, so it's already been paid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
But we don't have to sign off on
No,
that.
you guys already signed off on it, so,
Okay.
and that was carried over, so the finance before that would have done it, because it was still, I earmarked it for 2025 anyways, because I can't create it in 26 and use 25 money, so the finance committee in 2025 signed off on that.
Oh,
But it's already been paid, just so you know.
okay.
I think these were yesterday's stuff. That's where they came, I was wondering where these were from yesterday's meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions on that? Now, it is May, always a favorite time of the year for council. It's budget time. So
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
I just want everybody to, be thinking about in your committees, what you think. Obviously, there's always a work session that happens. We won't have a council meeting in May, so we will start talking about budget time in July. So I asked members, and this committee to compile some items that you think needs to be done for 2027's budget and be thinking about what the needs are. Because it will soon approach us. While everybody is having their summer and having a good old time, we'll be back in here the latter part of summertime.
Do we do the comprehensive, the big plan?
Well, I know that you mentioned that
Yeah,
yesterday at the street
separate.
committee.
Yeah.
Which I've always, you guys have probably heard me as a broken record, is I always think it's important to have a capital improvement
Capital
plan.
improvement plan.
And, I know that you had said something about that.
I did.
But I think that, and that's gonna be separate legislation, so just so you guys know, is that, capital improvement plan is passed by council.
Yes.
And that will probably deserve to have a work session as well.
Yes.
So that everybody can compile a list. Just so everybody knows with capital improvement plans, is that the reason why it comes to council for an approval is because it's supposed to be hard to change that.
Yes.
So I'm gonna use an example. So say, for instance, we want to pave, all of, and I'm just gonna pick a road, Jefferson Street, okay?
Mhm.
You guys would reserve and allocate a certain amount of money every single year.
Every year.
Okay, so say, for instance, in 2027, you're gonna reserve $5,000, okay? In 2028, you're gonna reserve $20,000. In 2029, you're gonna reserve $10,000. So in 2023 or 2032, you're gonna say that's when we're going to pave the whole street of Jefferson Street. So it's important, it's supposed to work that way, because guess what happens? Is that during those years of expand, council cannot touch that money. Council already reserved it in a capital improvement plan
Right.
to say it's gonna go through to a certain project, okay? So it's meant for it to be hard to take to council, it is meant for it to be hard to approve items. Because say, some council members say, no, the street really needs to get paved.
Yeah.
And other members say, well, no, guess what? 3 years later, our capital improvement has changed. Our comprehensive plan has changed. So it's meant to have discussion, it's meant to be majority rule, and it's meant to say, okay, it looked good that we were gonna pave it, but guess what? Maybe Chestnut Street needs to have the activity now. So it's meant to work through that, but it's meant to say, hey, we cannot touch these, it reserves the amount of money.
What happened to the one that we started in 2023?
I know Andy created it when he was on council,
I was
and then I
there.
think it was,
I remember
things
we,
happened, I think,
Yeah.
and it never was brought back around.
So we never
Right,
approved
right.
it, we
No.
never appropriated any money?
No. But again, and that's what I'm saying, is comprehensive plans is a plan at the time. In today's world, what do you wanna see happen? But that can always change.
Can we pick that
because
up?
the council's changed, you know.
Can we pick that up and go with it? I think I have a copy.
Well, I haven't, I mean, if you asked me what happened yesterday, I probably couldn't tell you. But I think it, you know, if Andy still had it, I know he had put it out there in the lobby at some point to have public
he
suggestion.
did have it out there.
But again, you have new council, so the needs may be new now.
Right, but we could use that as a
Yes.
template.
Right. Yep.
I think I have a copy.
I hope by 2033, I'm on Myrtle Beach by then, so.
So, I mean, it's meant
Naples.
to work that
Go to
way, to
Naples.
reserve the money so that you're not reserving it like we do that year. Okay? But, you know, I do, you know, as far as, you know, and it happened in the water committee, you guys all know that, you know, the rate study's gonna be coming back. He reached out to me yesterday, and he has a few more things that, he wants to gather, and then it should be able to be presented. And that, of course, I would assume, I mean, your chair of water, that would be given to all council. That has to have a
Should
discussion
be.
as well.
Courtney, I have a quick question on that. Last night, I just moved the water meeting because of Memorial Day a week. And then you were expressing again that like Mondays are not good for you, but now are council meeting Mondays good for you? Because we have a lot of meetings on council meeting.
Yeah,
So should I move it to another week later? So,
yeah.
I mean,
would
our
prefer
council
to-
meeting Monday's good.
Yeah, council meeting Mondays are good.
Okay.
Because obviously we can't change that.
Right.
So it would be great if everybody, you know, and again, I don't have to be there. Now,
Right.
I mean, I just.
Just
know-
Mondays are good for Melanie, but I can
Yeah.
still move it back
Yes,
to the
to
ninth.
the next council.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that would be good if that can happen.
Yeah.
I always try to make them happen, but here recently it's not, I don't know what day is up. and
That
down.
can absolutely happen.
Yep. Okay? And that's all I have.
All right. Anything else?
I think we pretty well covered.
I appreciate you guys. I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 10:49.
You know.
Hi, can I help you?
It's Charlie.
I'm Charlie with Caldwell.
Hi, Charlie.
Water Tower.
Okay,
Sorry, I
you're-
didn't mean to crash your meeting. I
No,
didn't know
you're
how
fine.